From Mandurah to Mareeba, Kingaroy to Katanning. If there's a tale worth telling, you'll hear about it on the Bush Telegraph. Brought to you by Mighty Mite, the family-owned, Aussie-made yeast extract spread.
Oh, there's chaos here. Ross has got the line of the week. Ross thinks what we're about to do today should be a weekly segment. Now, Dan is here because we send the highlights program out to stations right around the country, and each day on Thursday, Dan brings us a collection of stories from the bush for the bush. Been doing it for the past years. Wonderful. I know you love it. You don't hear these stories here in Sydney. It's a collection of stories from Port Douglas to Port Hedland. Today's a little different. He's walked in here, a thorn between two roses. Dan?
Alan, good morning. This is a tough gig, I can tell you. I was lucky enough to meet two young Australians last week, one from Darwin, one from Cairns. They're with us through Flow FM and 4CA up there. This is all about being from the bush and making it big in the big smoke. Alan, this is Miss Australia, Erin Holland, and this is Mrs. Australia, Kate Johnson.
Astonishing.
How good do they look at 8 o'clock in the morning?
Well, this is Ross. This is why Ross says this has got to be a weekly segment. A married man, Ross. A married man.
I'm married
Erin.
too. It's totally fine.
Erin. And that's Mrs. Australia. She's married as well. Now, but look, Erin,
morning.
Congratulations, eh?
Thank you so much.
You've already been Miss World. That was where was that? In Jakarta?
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be in Jakarta. It ended up being in Bali, and that was for all of September last year.
And they were all fighting and carrying on and protesting.
Yeah, it was a little tense for a little while there. When we first entered the competition, we flew into Bali, and we were always supposed to spend 2 weeks there. And then we were supposed to travel to Jakarta and spend the final 2 weeks there and actually have the final stage there at the Centaur, which is a massive complex where they have a lot of really famous artists performing. Unfortunately, due to some political tensions, we ended up actually staying in Bali for the safety of all the girls in the competition, and absolutely beautiful. Bali is a fantastic place to spend your time.
This is extraordinary. This is a beautiful young woman, and I'm all for recognising beauty, but from Cairns, you graduated from Cairns State High School. This is a serious bit. In 2006, you're a classically trained soprano with a Bachelor of Classical Voice from the Sydney Conservatorium.
Yeah. So when I
grew up,
stop
talking.
Sorry.
Come on. I want a couple of bars out of you. Come on.
You want me to sing something?
Yeah, just something.
I knew you were going to do this. What am I going to sing?
Come
on. Put on the spot.
You put her on the spot. Here we go.
Here we are. She's right.
I peer through windows, watched life go by, dreamed of tomorrow, and wonder why. Anyway.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
One thing I didn't do this morning was warm up.
And you've done grade 8 on clarinet.
Yeah, grade 8 on clarinet, grade 8 on voice, grade 5 theory. That's why I moved to Sydney.
And Miss World Australia. Now we've got Kate, who's Mrs. Australia. And look, congratulations to your husband, as I understand.
A lot of people congratulate him. Yeah.
But he served with the Allied troops in Afghanistan.
He did. He returned this time last year from Afghanistan.
How hard was it for you with him over there? You worry?
I did. It depends on who I talk to, because if I speak to my in-laws and I say, I didn't cry until about 6 weeks in, they think I'm horrible. But now that I look back, I think it was actually really challenging. Having him away for all that time, you just never know what could happen. As much as he's not on the front line,
I agree.
He's an air traffic controller, but they had rocket attacks every half an hour. And the sort of stories he came home with, it's like, you know what, if you went again, I think I'd be even more worried. But he came home in one piece, and I'm one of these blessed military wives that had a husband come home, so I'm very proud of him.
Very much so. So you were born in Manly but raised in Darwin.
Yes.
And then you were crowned last year in November. You're a model, you're a businesswoman, passionate about educating young women about body image and looking after themselves. Good on you. There's nothing wrong with looking nice, is there?
No, not at all.
God, strike me pink. But no, we have gone mad about beauty contests. Oh, this is terrible. This is a flesh parade and all that sort of nonsense. There's nothing wrong with beautiful people, as there's nothing wrong with intelligent people or, people being good at whatever. And so why did you enter Mrs. Australia?
A bit of a challenge, really.
Yeah.
I think I was never really into modelling or pageants or anything beauty related growing up. In fact, I was the dead opposite. I'll have to show you some photos of what I looked like in school. I had the worst acne. I still wear glasses now, actually, and having braces at the same time. It's like, oh, ugly Betty style. But now it's almost like, oh, I hit 16, 17, and it's like, oh, wow, a new lease on life. And particularly when you've just had that newfound lease on life, you've worked out your direction. Even turning 30, it's like, oh, I've worked it out now. I know what I'm doing. And because it took me so long to get to the point that I am now, if I can help other teenagers sort of reach that without wasting all the years I did, why not?
This is brilliant. I mean, it's a beautiful married woman with a bachelor degree of visual arts, majoring in digital media, an advanced diploma of graphic design, majoring in business management. You started your own consultancy business, did you not? Took you to Washington and London during 2005, 2006. You got a gliding scholarship, I hate gliding, through the Australian Air Force Cadets. You learnt to fly.
I did at 18.
See,
on my 18th birthday, I learnt to fly. It was a lot of fun.
You took up scuba diving, eh?
Well, I get airsick, so I thought, why not go the opposite direction?
See, I mean, Dan, you're a hero. Dan's brought this in. Here we are. This is Erin, Miss Australia, Miss World Australia, and Kate, Mrs. Australia 2014. Kate raised in Darwin, Erin educated in Cairns. You can't do better.
We like to think
Ross,
so.
you think it's a weekly segment? We have Miss Australia in here. We're very proud of you.
Thank you so
and
much.
what you're doing and the things that you're doing out there and the things that you said, Kate, resonate with young people everywhere. Kate said I had terrible acne and I looked ugly and I wasn't any good. Have a look at her now. And that gives confidence to young people. Tomorrow can be a different day, can't it?
It can be.
Beautiful. Sing. You want to go to Broadway?
I'd love to. It's always been the dream.
Oh.
That was the dream. Love to do a record, love to go to Broadway. And
There you are.
Always been my passion.
Let's see what can happen. Anything
Thank
can
you.
happen. Great to see you both.